Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. I have to ask my first question. You can hear me? Yes? Okay. We will begin today on Brihad Bhagavatamrita, second volume, chapter 4, text text 91. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yata kalam tata sarve nirsaranto mahashya agyaya nyagamanichum yuktya mam bahiranayan. When the time came to stop, everyone, on the request of Lakshmi Devi, started to leave, but I didn't want to go. The devotees had to persuade me to let them escort me outside. Commentary. Sri Lakshmi Devi told the devotees to leave because it was time for Lord Narayan's lunch and for other important business. Only she remains with the Lord during his meals. Like every housewife, Lakshmi manages the household affairs, and Lakshmi displays her supreme opulences to provide the enjoyable comforts of Vaikuntha life for the pleasure of her husband. I'll read a few verses today. Tatra parasyeva mahavibhutir upastitasta parahitya dure svayam satir atmani cha prakashya goparva rupo nyavasampureva. Though like everyone else in Vaikuntha, I was approached by transcendental opulences. I avoided them. I refused to show even the splendors that spontaneously appeared within me. I resided there in the same form I had always had, that of a cowherd boy. Commentary. Simply because he was living in Vaikuntha, special powers appeared within him, but he avoided exploiting them or even letting others see them. Text 93. Satchidananda rupasta sarvastatra vibhutaya svadhina hi yata kaman bhavayu samprakashita. In Vaikuntha, all opulences are purely spiritual, full in eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Appearing whenever one desires, they willingly submit themselves to one's control. Commentary. The infinite varieties of the spiritual kingdom all share a common grounding in Satchidananda existence. But since the expression of opulence there depends on the desires of the individual residents, one encounters immeasurable variety. Personal powers there are purely spiritual, so the residents use them faultlessly, without the selfish manipulations employed to enjoy one's senses in the material world. We'll stop there for now, and We may read more verses, but let's see. Om Jnana Timirandasya Giranjana Salakaya Chakshur Unminitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhangam Langayate Garim Yatkipatamaham Vande Shri Gurundina Taranam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvashesha Shanyavari Paschachade Satarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The last verse we read on Monday. We ended on the description of Lord Narayan's features as Vaidagdhya Sindhum and Kripanidhi. Vaidagdhya Sindhum described him as the ocean of skillfulness, and how he manifested his ocean of mercy, Kripanidhi, by sitting, relishing, and encouraging, and in every way inspiring Gopakumar in his efforts to play the flute for his pleasure. And we even gave that little example. I don't know if you saw it. I still didn't see it. But of the video I had noticed that particular day on YouTube of two professional violin players being awestruck by the 2-year-old violin player. In the same way, we use that as a mundane example to describe how Lord Narayan was relishing, and even though he was, as we described him as Kalanidhi, he was he's expert in all kinds of displays of his artfulness or skillfulness, and especially in playing musical instruments, what to speak of in playing the flute. Although he doesn't play the flute in Vaikuntha, still he is expert in playing it. Still, he extended great mercy to Gopakumar by sitting and relishing and encouraging him to play what was most natural for Gopakumar and to serve, because we have to understand that Gopakumar's spontaneity, which didn't quite fit into the Vaikuntha mood, his spontaneity was to serve, and serve in a way that was not the accepted norm in Vaikuntha, because it was springing forward from his heart in the most natural way, which he was inclined at all times to do, and therefore, as we have indicated on many times, and we won't go into those details again, he felt somewhat stifled in his spontaneous expression to play the flute with his friend. And he was hoping to see his friend extend himself a little bit more than the formal way that he extended himself at that particular time. So we spoke about the Lord being the ocean of all skillfulness and the ocean of mercy. And then beginning with today's verse, Gopakumara said, when the time came to stop, everyone on the request of Lakshmi Devi started to leave, but I didn't want to go. Devotees had to persuade me to let them escort me outside. He was a little resistant. Again, from the platform of spontaneity, which was being stifled, he was being told it's not your time and place now. Lakshmi Devi is preparing lunch, and she takes care of all these affairs. And she is, in her, we described before, it's the nature of the relationship between Lakshmi and Dharani, the different wives of the Lord in Vaikuntha, is that of Svakiya, and therefore in that Svakiya ras that Lakshmi has, it's not prominent in any way in Vaikuntha. And as we have indicated many times before, what is most prominent in Vaikuntha, actually Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur describes that it is 2.5 rasas which are prominent. That which is Santa ras, Dasya ras, and Sakya ras with awe and reverence. That's why it's a half, because there's some friendship, but the friendship is always in awe and reverence. But there's now none of the intimacies of friendship which are displayed by the varieties of types of friends that Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan and enjoys and relishes, those types of relationships. So they are predominant in Vaikuntha, Shantaras, Dasya, and Sakya in awe and reverence. And really you don't find Vatsalya because, as we explained before, no one takes their birth. Krishna doesn't take his birth. So there's no Vatsalya Bhav there, and there's certainly no Madhurya Bhav in Vaikuntha. So, therefore, Lakshmi Devi, as we said, it's not prominent in Vaikuntha, but she renders this service. Particularly, she renders this service to Lord Narayan, and because everybody wants to see the Lord pleased and satisfied, generally, when it's time for lunch, they all comply. But Gopakumara had to be persuaded, as he said. He said right here, I didn't want to go. And everyone was being escorted out, and they had to persuade me to let them. You know, it's nice, it's very interesting the way it's presented. They had to persuade me to let them. As we've many times indicated, the mood in Vaikuntha is never one of a condescending mood. It's a mood of friendship, equality, no superiority, and therefore it was sort of like they were speaking to him in such a way that, please, will you let us escort you outside? It wasn't like pulling him and dragging him, dragging him out. Look, let's get out of here. Can't you see? Lakshmi Devi's ready to serve lunch. This just doesn't take place. But we've discussed this many times again because there's no envy in Vaikuntha, and there's no hierarchies in Vaikuntha, no superiority, no inferiority. Therefore, it's very interesting. The wording that's used here is that they persuade him to let them escort him. And although it was difficult, he complied. He complied. But it's not going to be without some statements on this topic, which will come later, which is, of course, the free-flowing expression in his heart, which he wants to make known. In fact, he didn't even have to make it known to Narada Muni, as we will see soon. Narada Muni will already notice it. So that's this verse. We'll go on to the next verse we already read, which states that though, like everyone else in Vaikuntha, I was approached by transcendental opulences. I avoided them. I refused to show even the splendors that spontaneously appeared within me. I resided there in the same form I had always had, that of a cowherd boy. And in the commentary, it is said that because he was living in Vaikuntha, special powers appeared within him, but he avoided exploiting them or even letting others see them. Exploiting them, we have already indicated that there's no question of exploiting these powers in Vaikuntha. Although it is interesting that, and I happen to read today, that Rupa Goswami does describe in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It was a very interesting verse where Rupa Goswami describes the different types of liberation that one can achieve: samipya, salokya, sarshti. And in his description of these different types of liberations, he explains why the bhakta, the devotee of the Lord, generally he's not so much inclined to accept these things, because a devotee, his most prominent concern is service. And therefore, because that is his most prominent concern, and he describes two different types of categories of persons who aspire for these types of liberations. One is a devotee. He doesn't aspire for it, but if he's given it, why he will accept it? Because he sees it as service. But he also explains there's another type who aspires for it, but they have some, and the Sanskrit word that Rupa Goswami uses is Sukhaishvayotara. Now, Sukha means happiness. Aishvaya means opulence. And Uttara means it's predominant. It's the predominant desire to enjoy opulences. And he says here, and I'll read this, it's very interesting. There's two verses that Rupa Goswami explains this. And he says, though 5 types of mukti have been described as worthy of rejection, salokya, sarshti, samipya, and sarupya are not so contradictory to bhakti. Of course, we know sayuja is. Devotee is never inclined towards sayuja, because in sayuja there's no service. Although we did say, and we've indicated this before, that Sanatana Goswami revealed that even for those who achieve sayuja, the Lord is so merciful that even though the particles of effulgence in the Brahma Jyoti have no inclination to serve, the Lord very mercifully accepts it as service. And in that way, even though they have no inclinations to serve, the Lord being very merciful, he will accept it as service, and therefore they derive some benefit because he's accepting it as service. But generally, there's no inclination to serve. And we'll get into this a little bit more, but first let me read these 2 verses by Rupa Goswami. And Jiva Goswami says in his commentary, though these 4 are not extremely contradictory to bhakti, They are contrary to a small degree, since they are accomplished with some unfavorable attitude. The favorable portion in these four is caused by the acceptance of some bhakti. What is the unfavorable attitude? The unfavorable attitude is there is a desire, independent of the desire to please the Lord. There's a desire for these four types of liberation. So that's why it's considered to be not favorable, because a devotee's only desire is anyurbalashita shunyam, jnanakamanyanavitam. His only desire is to render service to the Lord favorably as the Lord desires. Now, next verse. There are two varieties of these four types of liberation. One predominated by the desire for happiness and power, and the other predominated by the desire for prema. The first variety is not accepted by those who are inclined to serve the Lord. And Jiva Goswami in his commentary, and this is where the word Sukhaishvaryottara, Sukha means happiness, Aishvarya means opulences, and Uttara, predominant. The predominant desire is not service, but to enjoy the opulences of these four types of liberation. Here the author explains the word ati in ativa rudyate of the previous verse. One variety has the predominant desire, uttara, for the happiness and powers which are natural in the spiritual world. The other variety has the predominant desire for service executed by one's natural prema. The devotees do not accept the first variety. This is understood in the previous verse quoted, so lokya sarshti samipya, from the third canto of the Bhagavatam. If the four types of liberation are not accompanied by service, they are rejected, because ekatva, or oneness with the Lord, is always without service. The devotees always reject it. Oneness is understood to mean merging into the Lord or Brahman, Sayuja. So now I'm going to read one more quote, and then I'm going to try to explain from this quote. This is from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's also a nice quote from Prabhupada quoting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Caitanya Charitamrita. But I'll get to that afterwards. I was explaining before how Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur described 2.5 rasas. And he says in Vaikuntha, and he says, those who want to conceive of Vaikuntha from this world say, let those 2.5 rasas be utilized for Narayan's service, and the rest is for us. So he's also indicating the faulty mentality of those who meditate on Vaikuntha with an attitude towards personal happiness and enjoyment. Even, of course, even of the other 2.5 rasas, but also even of the enjoyment of opulences. He was explaining specifically this same point, that there's some tinge of a personal desire for enjoyment. And therefore, I bring up this point simply to elaborate on the point that is made in the commentary that we just read, that because Gopakumara was living in Vaikuntha, special powers appeared within him, but he avoided exploiting them or even letting others see them, which of course indicates that Gopakumar, it was exclusively predominated by the desire, service, nothing else. I simply want to serve, I simply want to please, and even his desire to have that relationship with Madan Mohan was motivated that he'll be pleased by having me serve him in this way. This is his pleasure. He's attracted to this type of spontaneous love. As we oftentimes quote, that Nayam Sukapo Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sukha Sutta, that Krishna's attracted by the spontaneous devotional service rendered by the devotees. He's attracted by that more than anything else. That's what gives him pleasure. So Gopakumar is exclusively thinking, pleasing the Lord, service. Now, as we've oftentimes explained, that the residents of Vaikuntha, they are also of the same mindset, that they adopted various types of forms, they adopted various types of opulences as an offering to the Lord. But some of it, as we said, is Shanta. And Shanta, Dasya is there also, but some of it is Shanta. Shanta means that I manifest it, and if the Lord wants it, they're attached to the Lord. That's one of the symptoms of a Shanta Bhakta. He's attached to the Lord and is completely detached from everything material. He's attached to Krishna, but he's not so attached to service. So there is some Shanta. As we said, in Vaikuntha, there's some Shantarati, which means that for some, that if the Lord wants to enjoy, it's here for his taking. Even, I think about it also, although there's a difference, it is described, there's also Shantaras in Goloka. There has to be Shantaras in Goloka. Because if it wasn't Shantaras in Goloka, Goloka would be incomplete. But in Goloka Vrindavan, there's no Shuddha Shanta. There's no Shuddha Dasya. There's no pure Shanta. There's no pure Dasya. Dasya is always mixed with either some friendship, with Sakya or Vatsalya Ras, although the desire to is there, but it's always mixed with Sakya or Vatsalya. And although it's stated that and the fact that it's even described that in Goloka Vrindavan, the plants and the stick, Krishna's cowherd stick, even the flute in some places is described as Shantaras. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, even cows, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes it very, very clear in one commentary in the Srimad Bhagavatam that although there is some Shanta, it's covered. It's covered Shanta. Because even though, the flowers are giving off a fragrance, when the Lord smells the flower is embarrassed, or the Lord, the flower is embarrassed. He doesn't of giving that fragrance. Or like the cows and the calves. The cows, although it's said that they have Shantaras, but they actually have motherly affection. And the flute, the gopis are envious of the flute. Why are they envious of the flute? Because the gopis are thinking, the flute is kissing Krishna. And we want to kiss Krishna. And the flute is kissing Krishna all the time. So, therefore, the flute is there for service for Krishna and Shanta, but still it's covered Shanta. It's not Shuddha Shanta. But in Vaikuntha, there is Shuddha Shanta. It is there. As we said, Shantarati and Dasyarati are most prominent in Vaikuntha, servitorship. And therefore, the powers or the potencies or the opulences that are manifest in Vaikuntha, their personalities, and as it's described right here, their personalities, and also very interesting the way it's described here in the next verse. In Vaikuntha, all opulences are purely spiritual, full in eternity, knowledge, and bliss, appearing whenever one desires. They willingly submit themselves to one's control. What does that indicate? Again, they willingly submit themselves. They're not putting up any resistance. Whatever one wants, if one wants opulences in Vaikuntha, one wants to display the opulence because the opulences are also Satchidananda, because everything in Vaikuntha is Satchidananda, then the opulences willingly submit themselves and say, you want us to manifest? We're here. We're here to serve. And you want us to manifest? So we'll manifest. You don't want us to manifest? We're here to serve. We'll remain hidden. We're here to serve. So there's some Shanta Rati, but again, service is very prominent in Vaikuntha. So there is both that is there, and as we said, also Sakya. This is at least the point that I believe that is being brought out by Rupa Goswami about the different types of desires, that if there's some desire for enjoyment of opulences, then if one looks upon Vaikuntha with a desire for enjoyment, then that is unfavorable for devotional service. And therefore, a devotee will never accept any opulence which distracts him from service. Because him, Uttara, the most predominant mood is service. That is the most predominant mood for a devotee. So, for the devotees in Vaikuntha, service is there, and some Shanta as well. But not in Goloka. No Shuddha Santa, no Shuddha Dasya. Doesn't exist in Goloka. So, in Vaikuntha, all opulences are purely spiritual, full in eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Appearing whenever one desires, they willingly submit themselves to one's control. And then, as we read in the purport, but since the expression of opulence there depends on the desires of the individual residents, one encounters immeasurable variety. Personal powers there are purely spiritual, so the residents use them faultlessly without the selfish manipulations employed to enjoy one's senses in the material world. I said I also wanted to read something from Srila Prabhupada in the Caitanya Charitamrita. He speaks about, this is Madhya Lila, Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Rupa Goswami. He's talking about the watering of the devotional creeper and how it attains the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. And Prabhupada explains in the commentary, Goloka Vrindavan is the highest planet in the spiritual world. In order to go to the spiritual world, after penetrating the covering of the material universe, one must penetrate Brahmaloka, the spiritual effulgence. Then one can come to the Goloka Vrindavan planet. There are also other planets in the spiritual world called Vaikuntha planets. And on these planets, Lord Narayan is worshipped with awe and veneration. On these planets, Shantaras is prevalent, and some of the devotees are also connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Dasyaras, the mellow of servitorship. As far as the mellow of fraternity is concerned, in Vaikuntha, this rasa is represented by Gaurava Sakya, friendship in awe and veneration. The other fraternity ras, exhibited as Vishramba, friendship in equality, is found in Goloka, in the Goloka Vrindavan planet. Above that is service to the Lord and Vatsalya ras, and above all is the relationship with the Lord in the Madhurya ras. These 5 rasas are fully exhibited in the spiritual world in one's relationship with the Lord. Therefore, in the spiritual world, the Bhakti Kripa finds its resting place at the lotus feet of Krishna. What is that example given also in Caitanya Charitamrita? That in the higher rasas, lower rasas are also present. Just like this Shantaras. And it's actually said Shantaras is compared to be like in ether, there is sound. And therefore, all these other ether, earth, water, air, fire, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And ether is contained also in the other elements. And the same way, Shanta is contained in the other rasas. It is there. But the most complete, most fulfilled relationship, of course, is Madhurya, because all of them exist in Madhurya. But here, again, its point is made that in Vaikuntha, Shanta is Shanta Ras. Where was it? Shanta Ras is prevalent, and some of the devotees are also connected with the Supreme Lord in Dasya Ras, the mellow of servitorship. Again, this is from Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, verse 154. And he's quoting Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in that commentary. So, I'm going to read one more verse, also related to the same topic. Ittam tu vaibhava bhave vaibhavam babhave picha akinchanatvam gatate vaikunte tat svabhavata. Thus there is opulence even in what seems like its absence. And when opulence is visible, the devotees still feel as if they possess nothing. That is the special nature of Vaikuntha. Commentary. Every Vaikuntha Vasi has access to personal control over infinite energies, whether he chooses to display them or not. Yet even when devotees in Vaikuntha use their ability to manifest wonderful things, they still feel meek and humble because they are just sparks of the Supreme, from whom the Satchidananda opulences of Vaikuntha all expand. The devotees in Vaikuntha are free from the tendency to exploit other people and things for their own selfish interests. This is the nature of Vaikuntha. It is free from the constraints, kunta, of material bondage. As already stated, in that divine realm, the all-pervasive spiritual nature coexists with the infinite variety of ways to serve the personality of Godhead. Uh, I can, thus there is opulence even in what seems like its absence. I can, I guess, equate that's one of the opulences that Krishna displays is renunciation. There's six types of opulences. One of them is no renunciation of opulences. So in the same way, thus there is opulence even when it seems like it's even in what seems like its absence. Therefore, Gopakumar is also displaying his opulence by of his renunciation. He had no inclination whatsoever to display these opulences, as others did, and as we said before, that the residents of Vaikuntha display these different opulences to create unlimited variety for the Lord's pleasure for him to choose. Because all these opulences, they are all manifest for his pleasure. And what to speak of, the goddess of fortune, Sri Lakshmi Devi, she provides all these different opulences for his pleasure. And whenever there is a suitable time to display these opulences for his pleasure, they all are ready to be accepted and to be used and to allow themselves to give pleasure to the Lord according to the desire of the Lord and according to Lakshmi Devi's desire to please the Lord, which the Lord sometimes indicates in the various ways, as we described before, even by his sidelong glance, or even by his other ways of indicating of the things that he wants. And because they're so much in tune with wanting to give the Lord, then these opulences immediately become accessible and allow themselves to be engaged for the Lord's pleasure. And even if the Lord doesn't immediately accept their services or accept these different opulences, they're always waiting there, waiting for the chance to please the Lord and to be accepted in service for service in this way. And therefore, sometimes, as we described before, they accept these different forms, which we already gone through extensively, and we will go through extensively again when we describe later all the different forms that the associates of Vaikuntha accept because of their meditation of the Lord and their attachment to the Lord. As we said, for all those who exist in Vaikuntha, even in Shantarati, that there's two features that are there, and this is explained by Lord Caitanya to Rupa Goswami in this, I believe it's this 19th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. The two features that are always manifest, even in Shantarati, is attachment to Krishna. They're attached to Krishna, and they're totally detached from the material world. So they have some attachment to Krishna, but they may not be attached to a particular type of service. But because they're attached to Krishna, therefore they're ready to be used in various ways according to the Lord's desire and according to their particular mood which they were meditating upon before as they gave up their bodies and went to Vaikuntha. That's also explained later in this chapter. And therefore they accepted different forms. We gave the example of those who are worshippers of Kapila Dev. They accepted forms of sages. Those who are worshippers of what were the other forms that were there? Hanuman. They accepted forms of monkeys. Those who were worshippers of Kurma, they accepted forms as turtles. Those who were worshippers of these different forms of the Lord, they accepted these different forms in Vaikuntha. And What to speak of all these different opulences of the Lord who are waiting to be called upon for service. Inconceivable, and therefore we've had to, on many occasions, quote again and again both the statements of Gopakumara, Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, that we should not try to fully comprehend all of these inconceivable potencies that exist in Vaikuntha, but we should at least have the desire to hear about them, to awaken within ourselves a desire to become qualified someday to understand them. But even more for the devotees who are worshippers of Madan Gopal, who are not so much interested in understanding the glories of Vaikuntha as much as they are interested in understanding the glories of Goloka. They're much more attractive to hearing the descriptions of spontaneous devotional service rendered by the devotees in Goloka Vrindavan. That is their attraction, and because that desire is there, then they nourish that desire in the ways we described. Where did we describe it? I can't remember if we described it. I think it was in the last class in Russian we described it. It wasn't in the last class in English. But we described that point in our last class in Russian. Specifically, that because the devotees have become attached, they make their Ishtadev their object of their worship, and whatever nourishes their attachment to Ishtadev, they are like, yes, we were speaking about 4 types of hearing. We didn't talk about that. We spoke about this to the Russian-speaking devotees. There are 4 types of hearing. We were referring to the description given in the Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya. And it describes there are 4 types of hearing, and the first is I think, what is it? There's the swan, there's the parrot, there's the fish, and there is the Hare Krishna. What is the first? The very first one. The swan, the parrot, the fish, the chatak, of course, thank you. The chatak. The chatak bird. The chatak bird is the bird who's exclusively dependent upon getting the rain from the rain cloud. That even if other water is available from other sources, the chatak bird flying in the sky will continue to hover in the sky waiting for that rain cloud to manifest and to pour water, raindrops, which the chatak bird will only accept from the cloud. And even if the cloud, that rain cloud, is accompanied by lightning, the chatak bird is willing to accept the consequences of being struck by lightning because they're so exclusively dependent upon the water from the rain cloud. So this is one type of hearing, is the devotee who has a deep attachment for hearing about certain subject matters, and therefore, because he's attached, he'll extract like the swan. The swan is the other type of hearer. He extracts the essence from the combination of milk and water. The swan will extract that which nourishes his nishta, which nourishes his mood, his attraction. And therefore, this is the other type of hearing, is the swan. The parrot is compared to, is used as another example of the type of hearer, because whatever the parrot hears, he repeats. And he tells to others, and the example is even given that he may also, what he hears, he may even speak back and reveal what he's heard from his spiritual master to his spiritual master, to give the spiritual master the understanding that he's properly understood what he's heard. So he is like the parrot who repeats. And then the fish is the example of the fish, is the fish, when the fish is in an ocean of milk, the fish drinks that milk with unblinking eyes. in the same way as a devotee who is relishing the topics specifically which nourish his faith and his attachment, with unblinking eyes, he always sits and he hears very attentively to relish those topics. So we gave these different examples in our last class from the Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya, which are actually, there were 6 chapters from the Padma Purana, Uttarakanda, and they are actually given in a summary form and called the Bhagavat Mahatmya, Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya. There are also 4 types of casual hearers we described. Persons who are listened very casually, but they didn't have the same intent as the superior hearers. There was the superior hearers and the inferior hearers. And let's see if I can find it. Here it is. The inferior hearers are described as just as the cry of the wolf frightens the deer, which is attracted by the sweet sound of a flute in the forest, the foolish listener, whose loud noises create pain to the devotees engaged in hearing the sweet topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, is called a wolf listener. He's an inferior listener. A wolf listener is somebody who's always, although the topic is very relishable, and the fish listeners and the swan listeners and the chatak birds are hearing very, very attentively, the wolf listeners always have something to say. What? And they may try to challenge, and they may complain that this doesn't fit into my. These are the wolf listeners. That doesn't fit into their. They're not interested in relishing. They're interested in arguing, and because they're interested in arguing, those who are interested in relishing are described here as it's like the cry of the wolf, which creates pain. That's the word. Creates pain to the devotees engaged in hearing the sweet topics of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the Barunda bird. The Barunda bird, he lives in the Himalayas, tells others of whatever instruction it has heard without practicing it himself. One who teaches others but does not follow those instructions is called the Barunda listener. Just as the bull does not distinguish between eating sweet grapes or pungent oil cakes, the blind person who listens to everything but has no intelligence to discriminate between good and bad is called a bull listener. And just as the camel rejects the sweet mango leaves and chews instead the bitter neem leaves, one who rejects the sweet narrations about the Lord and hears instead mundane topics is called a camel listener. These are all described as inferior listeners. Or we were speaking about specifically from the verse in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where Sanatana Goswami was talking about casual hearers. People who only casually hear, but don't hear with a desire to, as he described, as Sanatana Goswami described, with the desire to not only hear, but to adopt the methods and instructions given by the speaker so that he could become qualified to someday understand the topics spoken by the speaker. So he spoke about the casual hearer. And these are casual hearers, somebody's, as we've just described. Speakers say the topmost listener is he who comes before the speaker, offers due obeisances, and is eager and expert in hearing the pastimes of Lord Hari, after rejecting all types of mundane topics. He humbly engages at hearing with folded hands like a disciple. He has full faith in the Lord. He is attached to asking questions, and he always contemplates the subject he has heard. He is a dear friend of the Lord's devotees. The topmost speakers who are respected by all sages are those whose hearts are attached to the Lord without hankering for anything else. They are the well-wishers of all. They are merciful to the fallen, and they are expert in learning the truth by various arguments. This is from the Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya. Yes, we brought that up. As we were saying that that the devotees who are relishing are more interested in relishing the sweet pastimes of the Supreme Lord. They are like the swans. They extract the essence of what they've heard, and they understand, just like Gopakumara. He is also of the similar mentality, and although he is relishing in every place he's gone to, he's relishing, but still, because he's looking for the essence, and he wants simply to take the essence of everything that he's experienced so far. For him, the essence is that which nourishes his sakyaras. His sakyaras is not Gaurava sakyaras, or in reverence, which is that which exists in Vaikuntha. His sakyaras is that which is free from our reverence, which is intimate. The intimacy. In fact, one of the things that Gopakumara is going to go on to describe very soon is that one of the things that attracted him in Vaikuntha is that because the Lord allowed him to play his flute for him, he considered this to be intimate. It was more intimate for him. It was an intimate service to play the flute for the Lord. And because he experienced some of that intimacy in his heart, for some period, he was attracted by that hope for intimacy, because that was his expression, was playing the flute spontaneously. It was an intimate service that was allowed by the Lord. So, and as we know, intimacy is what predominates in Goloka Vrindavan. And the intimacy in Vaikuntha, it is not so much predominant, that intimacy between the servitor and the served. There's not so much intimacy. In Goloka, it's mamata. The intimacy is the relationship that Krishna is my friend, Krishna is my son, Krishna is my lover. That is that feeling of possessiveness. But that doesn't exist in Vaikuntha. That intimacy is not there. That Krishna doesn't belong to me. Krishna is the supreme emperor. He is, everything is for his pleasure. Everything is meant for, all these opulences, all this service is meant for his pleasure. And therefore, that intimacy of service is not so prominent in Vaikuntha. That is one of the distinctions. So, and I believe that's in the next verse, actually. No, it's not. But it's coming up very soon, where Gopakumar will describe the intimacy of the service. Yes, he says, after some time, by the Lord's kindness, I obtained the intimate personal service of fanning him with a chamara, and I constantly felt the bliss of seeing the Lord as I played for him on my flute. So that's intimacy, which was what was there in Gopakumar's heart. The intimacy that which he was hankering for, which he got it sometimes. Sometimes it was, it's not like he immediately, it's very, very clear that when he was in Vaikuntha, he didn't say, and he's not going to say afterwards also, he said, I'm out of here. He didn't say that. Anyways, the point that I was making is that Gopakumara in Vaikuntha, he didn't immediately reject it. There was something there that was pulling him. He was trying to extract that which was attracting him, thinking that maybe this is, and even for a while he was thinking, maybe this is the place I'm looking for. He was getting something, but it's not like he wasn't getting anything. So he was extracting something which was his swan-like nature. He was extracting what was nourishing his mood. But still, we have to understand, still, for him, incomplete. Incomplete. For most, not incomplete. For Gopakumar, still incomplete. So, therefore, that's the quality that he manifests of being like the chatak, the swan, well, parrot, I'm not sure, but fish. He was extracting. I think probably we should end because. But the last point I was making is that Gopakumar's incompleteness, although he was extracting and relishing and deriving happiness and pleasure, there's no question that in Vaikuntha, Gopakumara was not experiencing bliss. He was experiencing bliss. He was relishing experiences there which were nourishing his mood, but he didn't get the complete experience which was deeply embedded in his heart, which manifests as a result of his sadhana, worship of his chanting of his mantra, and the meditation of his Ishtadev, and everything else that he had come in contact with in the course of associating with Vaishnavas in the course of his travels, that this was his qualification. His qualification for his qualification for going to Goloka Vrindavan. And as we said when we spoke a few days ago, for the Mathura Brahmin, lost the sound. No sound? We still have. We have. For the Mathura Brahmin, he got everything all at once from Gopakumar. He got everything. He got the mantra. Of course, he got the mantra in his dream from goddess Kamakya, who was an expansion of Srimati Radharani, and he began chanting it. And he also began wandering in the beginning, but then Radharani told Gopakumara, hey, why don't you tell him your story? Give him your story, because if he hears your story, he won't have to follow the same route You did. If he hears your story, you've got everything. Here you are. You're a Goloka. You're about to go off to the pasturing grounds and enjoy with your friend Krishna, and you have this mood, this intimate mood, and just go, and it's not much time spent. In fact, it's described that Gopakumar, who is, Sarup, Gopakumar, just at the request of Radharani, he went when Krishna went out to the pasturing ground, and by the time Krishna was coming back, he was already coming back with the Mathura Brahmin. So Gopakumar gave the Mathura Brahmin everything, so that the Mathura Brahmin didn't have to go to Svargaloka, didn't have to go to Mahakalapur, didn't have to go to Vaikuntha. He went, he immediately gave him everything in that discourse, gave him everything. And of course, he had, the Mathura Brahmin, he had the qualification, he had the adhikari, he had the adhikar. He listened, he heard, gave himself completely, attentively to the subject matter at hand, had complete faith. He got the blessings of Gopakumar, who completely blessed him with everything and gave him all qualifications. And such was the nature of this story that Gopakumar has to tell. It's the story that he told the Mathura Brahmin, and it's the story that we're hearing, and gradually, if we hear it properly with the proper understanding, and understanding the goal, which was clearly outlined in the first part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, who were the recipients of the greatest mercy of the Lord? No doubt about it, the gopis, the residents of Vraj. They are the greatest recipients of Krishna's mercy, because Krishna feels so much separation from them. Krishna, so much attachment for them. Krishna can't forget them for a moment, and even becomes distracted by simply remembering them. And he shows how attached he is to them, and even reveals in the presence, and is seen by those who are in other places. They observe it, they see it, all described in the first part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It's very clear that the residents of Vrindavan are the greatest recipients of Krishna's mercy, and Krishna is most pleased by anyone who helps him to remember them, as he was Narada Muni, who helped Krishna to remember them. Then the second part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita is going to establish that, yes, Gopakumara is going to give us the story and the ideal example of how I'm sorry, I got distracted. Radharani's kindness. Yes, she is very merciful. She is very compassionate. And she sent Gopakumar just to tell his story. And if we hear it with that understanding and with that faith, nourishing that one-pointedness and attachment which we cultivate within our hearts of our worshipful deity, meditating on him, desiring to achieve him, trying to remember him, hearing those topics which nourishes our attachment to him, then by becoming such an attentive hearer, we can have hope to achieve the same destination as that which was achieved by the Mathura Brahmin, by the mercy of Gopakumar, and certainly by the mercy of Sanatana Goswami, who revealed all of this to us and showed us how to become qualified to actually experience it and to realize it by his total submission to the service of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who came to give this highest love for the Supreme Lord. Lord Chaitanya, most merciful, he came to give this highest love. So this is all obtainable. It's there. It's not something that's simply something that the Sanatana Goswami is simply giving us as a nice story and allegory. No, it's all obtainable. It's all there. And the best way to nourish is to become like chatak birds. And just to continue hearing. Just continuing hearing. Chanting, which of course Gopakumar described how he achieved Vaikuntha. His chanting was done by absorption, meditation, and an ecstatic love for the Lord, with a desire to please the Lord. And these are some things we can learn from the pages of Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So we'll stop there. And it's, I don't know what time it is. Probably 8:15. 8:15. And on the East Coast time. And we'll continue with our chanting, as we'll chant a little while together. And for those who still have rounds to chant, anyways, please speak on. Who was that? Was that Dira? Anyways, I've already moved into next phase. Moved into next phase. I was Lakshmi Moni. I will continue on Monday. It's the day after tomorrow. I've got my day straight. It's Saturday, right? I will continue on Monday. And there's some nice verses coming up. Nice verses. Especially that verse that we just read. We didn't read the commentary about the intimate service. That's how Gopakumar he's going to describe that he by his mercy, that's the point, makes very, very clear. His mercy, nothing out, not my qualification, causeless mercy. By his mercy, he let me fan him. And by his mercy, he allowed me to spontaneously play my flute for him. Not my qualification, his mercy. This goes back again to our topic of extra special mercy. So, yes, the Lord did nourish by his mercy that mood of intimacy, but still, it was only to increase his hankering and to make him all the more qualified to keep on going. That's that hankering is something that is supposed to increase. It's supposed to increase more and more as we hear. That's the result when one becomes attached to a particular service or attached to a particular topic. It's an awakening as a result of that attachment. And actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes this, and when he quotes the verse from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he quotes that verse, having awakened the desire to hearing about me, having awakened the faith in hearing about me, attachment to hearing about me, knowing that all sense gratification leads to suffering, and still not being able to give up suffering, and being and being, not only knowing that it leads to suffering and can't give it up, but also rejecting sense gratification, knowing that no, sense gratification leads to suffering. He says that my devotee continues to go on hearing with me with faith. And because he knows that by going on hearing with me, then gradually what happens is as a result of that faith, he sincerely repents for whatever attachment still remains, residual attachment still remains in his heart. And that repentance becomes his qualification to go on hearing. I need to hear. Even though I'm attached, I need to hear. Because he's awakened that faith. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, not Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. In his commentary to that verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, he says that the devotee, his attachment to hearing has to be stronger than his attachment to enjoying Vedic rituals, stronger than attachment to enjoying, the pleasures of family life, or attachment to his, if it's stronger, he says, as long as it's stronger, then if he goes on hearing, what happens is these attachments that are there within the heart, they'll become clean, because he has faith that I have to go on hearing that which it nourishes. Although my attachment may be weak, it may not be fixed, it may not be strong, still I have faith. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. I have faith that the only way I can give up the attachment is I have to hear. If that faith is there, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that's when bhakti begins. It begins from that point. That he has faith, I must hear. That which nourishes some attachment that is there within my heart. If I don't, I become like the wolf or the Barunda bird, or I become like the other two I can't remember. My memory is bad. The casual inferior hearer. The camel. The camel that eats the thorns, that's right. Eats the thorns and relishes the taste of its own blood rather than relishing the sweetness of the topics. He relishes the taste of his own blood. And the wolf, who argues. So, the bull, yes, the bull. I missed something. I think I got them all. The bull, the wolf, the camel, and the... Put it up. What did I miss? Barunda bird. Yes, the Barunda bird. So this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says about that verse from the 11th canto. Jata Shraddha Matkatasu. It's 11th canto. I believe it's the 20th chapter, 28th, 29th verse of the 20th chapter, 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur speaks about it in some degree in the commentary, and in more detail is given 27, 28? Okay. In more detail in his own commentary. So we'll stop there. And do I need to chant any japa? Or should I chant a little japa? Yes, let's chant a little japa. Okay, we will chant a little japa together. And then we'll end. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Siddhi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari. Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari. Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari. Hari Rama, Rama, Hari Hari. Dhammadarastakam, yes, is tonight. I'm sorry, I didn't tell anybody. Dhammadarastaka normally begins at 7:15. But tonight it's beginning at 7:40 India time. I forgot to say something about it. 7:40, and that's because Madhavananda Prabhu is giving a class to the devotees in Chile, and I told him that I would wait for him. And he will be here at 7:40, so it's 25 minutes later. But I better tell others who aren't at class today, I better tell them in 3 minutes. I don't know how to tell them. Oh, no, I do know how to tell them. They're getting online. They'll be getting online now. 7:40. Dhammadarastakam. Or in 28 minutes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Maybe somebody can write for me, because devotees who are getting on from Dhammadarastaka at 7:15 will be getting on in just a few minutes. Can somebody just write in the chat that Dhammadarastakam this evening will begin 25 minutes later, so they can read it. And so that way I don't have to do it. Anybody, just write it in the chat that 25 minutes later, Dhammadarastakam, because it's the same link. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Das, yes, здесь. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama. Da každý den. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Всем 15. Каждый день. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinda. Okay, devotees, I'm going to have to end here. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We'll end here in our traditional way. And can you unmute yourselves? Yes, you can mute yourselves. Unmute yourselves. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki. Damodarastakam начинается здесь без 28. Hare Krishna.